And we are about to close it out. Now, for those of you who were looking to do Breakout Room 1, your own Understanding Youth Workshop, those are also for people who are working within youth development as well. So not just like if you're 12 and under, go hang out in the workshop, but it's helping with youth development. Here on the main stage, we've got 5 pillars. Now, if you saw in your program, there are 5 pillars that kind of guide all of the workshops, all of the activations, all of the topics stem from one of these 5 pillars. And these 5 pillars is like the curriculum, it's like the principles, the domains that build up kind of the meat and potatoes that are created and discussed within the conference above and beyond, right? Yeah, just, I'm just be putting the words together that y'all give me. And so to really introduce you into these 5 pillars, we're going to bring up our final panel for the afternoon. But before I do that, because, when they get done with the panel, then I think we just done, right? So y'all probably going to close us out, right? Okay, so the time has come. This is where I lay the microphone down, and I won't pick it up again for y'all until the last weekend of July. Next year. And it was an absolute honor and pleasure and privilege to be your MC for this event. Again, my name is Sherhara. My company is called Speakhaus. We offer communication coaching, helping you build your authentic voice, of all the things getting in the way of you becoming the person, the professional that you desire. Your inability to connect, communicate, and express yourself should not be one of them things. So if you want to use your voice powerfully, if you want to grow the public profile, be able to articulate your vision and express yourself, then holla at me, because we can support you in that. But I'll be back next year. Follow me on the Instagram. I went back to my Instagram. I had a whole bunch of people follow me. I was like, oh, when did they die? Oh, they didn't ask me where to find me. So I thank you all so much for just being so amazing, so great. It's been a pleasure. Instagram, @Sherhara, SHERHARA. That's it. You did a good job with that one. Howard was the only one. I got Sherhara at Gmail. What? But if you go on like LinkedIn and you type in Sherhara, you'll see a whole bunch of Indian women. East Indian. So thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure. So now, as I introduce for our final panel, wrong page. Make sure I get all the notes right. Oh yeah. This is going to be great. We have the co-founders of Melanin Minds, LaGina Harris, Melissa Mel, coming to the stage. LaGina is the media personality, host of Let's Talk podcast, and solo founder of the Us Space, which is on the 4th floor, y'all. On the 4th floor. Intentional creative space for women of color and women-centric organizations to thrive right in this building. Oh, it was in the notes. I said it before. Suite 400. And then we have Melissa Mel, holistic healing, co-founder of Melanin Minds, creative director based in Los Angeles, mentor to LGBTQIA plus youth and creatives in South LA. And we also have Muriel Foster. Yeah, now y'all been seeing her. She is a backbone. She be riding. Okay, she is like the main girl. She is the Melanin Minds Advisory Board member, co-founder of Intentionally Black, and a director of the Generators G-Beta Houston Accelerator for early stage companies. And then we got Dr. J. Okay, I didn't know you was on it. I wasn't on this thing. Was it on this thing? Oh, maybe it is. Hold on. Hold on. Y'all clap for him while I get my act together. Okay, look. Oh, yeah, Dr. J. I remember the name. Serving on the Melanin Minds board as research evaluation chair. Dr. J is a U.S. Air Force veteran, founder of is it Cosmi or Cosmi? Cosmi. I said it right the first time, and then I reread it, and I was like, ooh, did I read it wrong? Cosmi, thought architecture, co-founder of the National Sports Association for Wellness and Mental Fitness. Give him a round of applause. And then bringing Miss Linda K. Brown back up to the stage. She opened us up this morning. She's going to close us out. Certified life coach, counselor, minister, and founder of Fully Unleashing Life, a nonprofit that aims to educate, encourage, equip, and empower people because we believe everyone is perfect for their purpose. Amen. Linda is an executive board member of Melanin Minds and is joining us this weekend from Florida. Give it up for your final panel.
Thank you. Thanks so much, y'all. Spoiler alert, we don't have a script, but last year we did this 5 pillars panel. We did not have a board either, and now we do. So we're very, very grateful to have a full board, an advisory board, and actually someone just asked me, what are the pillars? I think we are now in our stride. We've hit our stride with our conference, with our organization, and we forget to sometimes slow down and start from the beginning, right? So when LaGina and I first connected on our mental health journeys and found our passion for mental health, we thought the first conference would be mental health and then that's it. We would move on to other topics, whether it's financial or relationships. But we really found a home in this community of melanin practitioners, experts, thought leaders, a lot of the folks that y'all have seen here. But we still wanted to figure out how to have multiple conversations from multiple perspectives. So we built pillars. And we have 5 of them, and they are what kind of drives our programming, especially for the conference. So those 5 pillars are holistic healing. So all of your ancestral practices, whether that's breath work, we've been doing a lot of that this weekend, yoga, herbalism, all the things that take care of our metaphysical and all the connections therein. And then we have aligning. So really aligning your life, your decisions, and knowing your options when it comes to mental health and the modalities. Then we have relationships. So whether that's professional, romantic, familial, community relationships, relationships in business. Then we have nutrition. So of course, everything that you put into your body also has an effect on your mind. I always do this. Mindset shifting. So mindset shifting, mindfulness, destigmatizing mental health. So with those 5 pillars, we've really been able to create a schedule where we have so many different conversations. So I would love to start with Muriel since we haven't shared a stage yet, but y'all have seen her around all weekend. She is like the third leg of Melanin Minds, and she serves on our advisory board doing, I want to say, community partnerships, and that involves, of course, a lot of relationship building and community. So I would love to hear, Muriel, how all of the work that you're doing with nonprofits, G Beta, Melanin Minds, the importance of relationships in your work.
Yeah, so relationships, not even just in my work, but in my entire, fiber of my being. Relationships, community just plays such a big part. I want to say maybe it was around the time I was in college. I might get a little deep for a second. Way back when I was younger, I had this aspect of feeling very neglected in a sense, and I didn't have someone in my corner a lot. When I went to college, I was also a same aspect. But in 2 instances, when I was younger and when I was in college, I had people that took a chance on me. So when I was younger, it was my friends. The friends that I have from my childhood are still my best friends to this day. And when it came to college, I had one specific person within the department I was in that took a chance on me, ended up having me as her part-time intern, ended up being able to create a nonprofit under her wing while I was at the college and everything. And at that point, I was like, I need to be like this for somebody else. So I decided to take that. And I guess I kind of took it and ran. And I was like, any chance that I get, whether it's with working with a nonprofit, working with my full-time job currently, was I'm going to make sure that I'm in someone's corner to be able to be their community regardless of anything. So as Sherhara said, I work for G Beta. So we're early stage. We're an organization that focuses on early stage tech companies. So a lot of the times the founders that I get into my program are completely new to tech. They don't have a community in a sense. So I'm kind of their first hand in having someone within this ecosystem of Houston to be I need a developer. And I love that because I'm able to kind of do what I was wanting, that kind of goal that I have, and was I'm gonna bring you into my community, and I'm gonna see this. I like to say it's like a tree. I get to see this seed that I plant and this tree growing and seeing all these branches of now you're knowing the people I know and they're being able to extend it out to you. So I feel that's a really big thing for especially kind of with this pillar and kind of being on this board to using that in the sense of I may know somebody from the ecosystem that I'm in, from the startup space, and being I know you know some mental health stuff. You need some mental health stuff done. Come over here with Melanin Minds and be able to kind of bring that over to this space as well.
Love that. And we have definitely felt the benefits. Our branches have extended, and we have someone that we can now say, if you want to work with us, you want to reach out, email outreach@melaninminds.org, and you'll be getting Muriel. So we definitely feel the love and the impact of having you in our corner.
Yeah, even the sponsorship. Celsius. Yes.
Celsius.
Chuck Norris Water.
C4s, yes.
All that. That's Muriel. Axelrad. Muriel takes care of that too. So that's what our advisory board has been doing for us, particularly Muriel.
So I'll go ahead and move on to you, LaGina. You are a multiple founder. You're not new to this, you're true to this, but you have undergone some new titles, right? You started as solo founder. Now you have a co-founder to work through a business with. And now you don't only have a for-profit business, you now have a nonprofit. So what are some of the mindset shifts you've had to go through in the different roles and creating the different businesses?
That's a really good question. I feel like mindset shifting is something that I have learned to embody, right? I don't think it's just one thing at a time. We often talk about Melanin Minds is creating opportunities for people to have mental health journeys because you're journeying in this lifetime. And so when I think about, because I really started as I watched Bob Ross on TV and I was like, I can do that. That's what I did. That's how my art started. And that started to be through community. It started to be a brand. And that's where Lorraine Infinity came in. And then I realized that I may be an introvert, but if I see that something is going on in a room and everybody needs to be corralled, then I'll do it. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm not shy, but maybe there's a certain avenue where my extrovert comes out. So some of y'all have encountered me for a couple years now, so you know that like I will be in the wellness lounge, rest and reset, very quiet. And you've seen me quiet, but you see me out here in that. So just a mindset shift around respecting who I am as a human has been a really big thing. And then that goes into my entrepreneur journey from, a brand to having a full-on community as a solo founder, and then even understanding what that looks like, and then having a co-founder is you. Like, if I can do everything as a solo founder, what does it look like as a co-founder? What don't I need to do? And, the trust fall, like, y'all can't divide me and Mel. People be trying to reach out to one and the other, and we're like, okay, cool, yeah. Just like you can't divide to, like, a really strong parent home, and you're like, thought if I asked him, she gonna, it's the same thing. So I think it's been a really big understanding of myself and moving into different areas and just understanding what that means. And that's been my mindset shift when we collectively decided about a board and making sure in the pillar of mindset shifting for Melanin Minds, we talk about intergenerational things a lot. And it's really important because we have great grandmothers, we have auntie crew, and we have aunties and everybody else. We have, we reach out to dads and brothers and everything. And so all of it has been just this mindset shift around mental health is everywhere and in everything we do. And it goes into my entrepreneur journey as well.
Love that. You'll notice if you go on our website and go on our About page, you will see that our team, our board, our advisory board, it's industry agnostic, ethnicity agnostic, gender agnostic. We do want to have all perspectives represented, especially building this org. So I'll go ahead, Miss Linda, our first ever board member, our executive board member, day one. Yes. If you didn't know, to form a nonprofit, you need 3 board members. So even if you have a co-founder, you still need 1 more person. You, Miss Linda, are another Jill of all trades. You have so many different titles, whether it's counselor, coach, minister, founder. What have you found in your work with folks through your different avenues that is all the same in terms of our mental health journeys?
People are people. Age doesn't matter. Location doesn't matter. People are people. And what I've found is learning to relate to the people, especially where they are. And because you guys did that for me. I'm in business because of LaGina. I just started, I restarted my life. I had retired in quotation and want to do something different. And I still needed to make money because I still had some debt. So I said, I'm going to do this business thing. And COVID happened. before I could even get started. Met her on a co-working network, and she just took me under her wing. And I'm so grateful for that because, again, people are people. And I've learned to adapt, if you will. I'm the oldest, but she knows a whole lot more than I do. So, and I'm so grateful for her, for Mel, for this whole experience because I am where I am because I've learned to align myself with persons, if you will, that can pour into me. And I don't see my value and worth with them. I'm like, y'all want me? Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, me? And yeah, Miss Linda. And seriously, that has caused me to keep living, literally. I'm on this earth continually because I was ready to check out, be honest. I really was. Life had happened to me. It was awful. So I'm grateful. I've learned let people be people. I've learned about this generational gap. It's a huge gap between us and y'all. I'm a great-grandma. And I've been talking to some young people around here, and I felt like, people will want to put us on the shelf because of, the salt and pepper or the more salt. Not these girls. No, Miss Linda, you are still valuable. You still have something to give. I'm still breathing. And I knew that, but I needed to feel that. So I'm grateful for this experience. I don't know if I answer your question or not, but that's all I got to say.
Absolutely. Whew, Miss Linda. So as we go from our first board member, we are going to move on to our newest board member, Dr. J. You are doing also some amazing work. You're also a founder. Can you tell us the importance of nutrition and why it was so important for you to have your nutrition presentation? I'm sorry, I missed it. I was giving sound baths. But the importance of nutrition in your work and all the work that you do.
Yeah, so, and I think we've started off on a good note to even talk about this and looking at everybody as unique individuals, people as people, and the unique journeys that we are all on. Part of that journey is our nutrition, the things we consume, whether that's mentally or whether that's physically. The things you are putting into your body change you. They change the hormones that you're going to produce. They change how your nervous system will respond to different events, even down to little things like how much spice you put in your food. Because when you put spice in your food, what you actually do is you create a stress response. That's why you get warm. That's why you start to sweat. That's why your heart rate increases, right? To some degree, that spice is a poison that elicits that response, and that causes you to enter that state, but then you come down from it. And what you do is you teach your body how to respond to a stressor and then how to decompress from a stressor. So even in what you eat, your stress response is involved. And thus, what we eat is extremely important, down to, in the earlier talk that I gave, talking about how your body just works. That it works, by putting things into your mouth, and it starts to produce enzymes that then help you break down the food, where it goes to your stomach, where actually your gut microbiome starts to break down the food even more. So the bacteria that populate your gut. So I like to talk about us as an ecosystem. You have to take care of the microorganisms that live in and on your body. They're on your eyes, they're on your skin, they're in your gut, they're in your intestines. They are literally a part of you, billions of microorganisms. But if you only think of yourself as a single entity, as I'm just going to take care of me, you may completely miss those factors. And those can be hugely impactful when we're talking about things like irritable bowel syndrome, right? That's something that's so common with people with chronic stress because stress causes you to not digest your food. And so your food ends up in your stomach and then it ferments. And you start to produce gas because now it's fermenting in your stomach as you're trying to digest it because you're so stressed that your body cannot switch the nervous system to actually digest your food. So little things to keep in mind about nutrition and its importance is just thinking of yourself as an ecosystem. What you are putting in is what you're going to get out. So if you're putting in a bunch of junk food, then what you're going to get out is not going to be as prolific or as varied as it might be if you consumed a lot of diverse foods. And so if there's anything that I say on that that's probably the most important thing is just eat diverse foods. Eat a bunch of different things, different times of the day, change it up often. And you will get the amount of nutrients and microorganisms and the things that you need to be healthy and to have a healthy nutritional state as well as a healthy mental state.
That was a mouthful because, consume a diversity of things. And there's so much better for you than just consuming, one thing, even if it's not just eating, but on social media, get a diversity of thought into your life as opposed to just singular. So thank you. That was awesome. I have just a little tidbit about holistic healing to share, and then we can open up for questions. But an experience I had recently at a breathwork class. Has anyone heard of alternate nostril breathing? It's one of the more complicated methods of breathwork. That's why I didn't do it with y'all. But you essentially block off one nostril to take in, and then one nostril to breathe out. And in doing that, I realized that my left side was struggling to breathe. And I didn't know that until I isolated it. So I'm sitting here, breathing through my nose normally, and I think I'm good, but actually my right side is pulling the weight of the left side that's not really working. And I never would have known that if I had not isolated that part. So when it comes to holistic healing, we do want to take a very holistic approach, not just our minds, but also what we put in our bodies and our relationships, our external factors. But I love that this conference gives us the space to isolate each of those, so that we can then see, what we should be doing, how we should be moving for that part, and how that plays into our mental health holistically. So that was my little tidbit about holistic healing. We can open up for questions, and I would love to hear as y'all gather y'all thoughts, because this is, again, our first time meeting in person. What drew you to joining the Melanin Minds board?
So I like to give my time and my efforts for organizations that are doing things for the general population, because there's a lot of focus in different areas, specifically business. There's a lot of support in business. If you're trying to start a business, there's a bunch of resources out there. But if you're a person and you want mental health support, where do you go? If you can't afford a therapist or if you don't have health care, where do you go? And so events like this are so incredibly important because now we're interfacing with people. And hopefully you all learn something here that you take back to your communities and share about the importance of mental health, the importance of nutrition and mental health, the importance of, all these different aspects, breath work and taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, understanding yourself, all those different facets that you then take back and hopefully teach people around you that will hopefully then teach their kids. And that is how we get ourselves out of the situation that we're kind of stuck in right now, especially in BIPOC communities that typically have less access to mental health care and things like that. So being part of an organization that understands that and is trying to give back to the community and involving and engaging people that are part of those communities, that's where I want to be. And so I feel extremely grateful to have met LaGina and Mel and be invited onto this board. And so I'm just happy to be part of this and hopefully impart some knowledge and things that I've learned in my studies and in my life that will hopefully help you all manage your mental health better. And for those that you love and care for, help them manage their mental health as well.
Sure, yes, Muriel, what, yeah.
Sure,
all
yeah,
three
we
of our
want to
board
know.
members.
Tell us why you picked us.
Why?
So I went to the conference that was at the Texans Community Center?
2022
Yeah.
Houston Texans YMCA.
Yeah, so me and my sister Danielle, who is a therapist, she was actually presented yoga with you all today. We went, and I've know the mental health space kind of from that aspect because of working with her in the past. And also she's my sister and she be trying to therapize me on the side. Don't tell her I told you that. And being at the conference, seeing it from an aspect, I think of since the fact that I see it a little bit on the clinical side, being able to kind of see it with additional pillars of holistic nutrition and kind of all being wrapped into one, that was something that I really enjoyed. And I wanted to see this organization grow. And one day I was just kind of like, I'm gonna ask LaGina. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna ask. And then just wanted to see how I can be involved in kind of just like how Dr. J was saying, I just wanted to be a part of an organization that was really helping the community in any way possible. And like I told y'all earlier, that's just kind of, I guess, like my own personal pillar of wanting to reach out and be a part of things that are kind of giving out those branches and growing people's trees. And that's why I chose Melanin Minds.
They chose me. I mean, but actually, what really, I was reflecting, and I remember when she said that she was going to have the first conference, and then she asked me to be a part of that conference to speak, and that was when COVID was it's almost post. So I didn't make the first one in person, but I came virtually, and I told her I just wanted to help. And I didn't have much, but whatever I could give, I would give because I was already in the community trying to do some of the things that they were doing, specifically among the faith community, because, pastors and leaders, they need help real bad. Anyway, so, and they knew me. They knew who I was, I shared some things, especially with LaGina about who I was and stuff, and she was like, yeah, Miss LaGina. So, but then when they chose me for the board, I was floored. I'm like, no. Yeah, Miss LaGina. Okay. So again, they chose me.
So my thing is when opportunities present, right? She is the first person that gave us a sponsorship check. She's the first person traveled with us. She's the first person that got us together and we're like, y'all need to talk. You know what I mean? So, and we were like, hey, we need your social security number for our paperwork. And she was like, gave us her credit card, social security, address. And, and that's how, Melanin Minds came about is like trust and seeing. So when she's saying that the alignment was there, and maybe respectfully, we all are actually the embodiment of the pillar we're representing, whether it's holistic healing or nutrition and relationships and aligning and mindset shifting when you think about those things. But that's what it was like, these organizations don't magically happen. Mel and I still have 2 full-time jobs, right? Like she's full-time and like I have members here that are doing stuff that have sewed into Melanin Minds because they see the importance of it. But like, yeah, we chose you, but like, just like we say, Melanin Mind, we didn't found Melanin Minds. Melanin Minds founded us. You know what I mean? And we're taking this and moving forward. So we're appreciative of that.
We're so appreciative of y'all too. This community, this is all for y'all. I hope that you felt that in every session and every panel that this space is really for you all. And I'm just really, really grateful to be affirmed in this way that we not only have a board, we have a community, we have speakers, we have volunteers. So if you want to become a part of our ecosystem, again, you can reach out to outreach@melaninminds.org. We are revamping our ambassador program, but we are always looking for volunteers, sponsors specifically. We've had a lot of questions about, when's the next conference? It's going to be the last weekend in July. It's going to be here in Houston. But this is a format that I think the nation, the world can benefit from. So if any of y'all have connections to other cities, sponsors, we are happy to take this format wherever it is needed and wherever there's community to show up for it. So yeah, Leilani?
Can you repeat the email? Was it outreach?
Yes, outreach@melaninminds.org. And that will go right to Muriel over here. And there are plenty of opportunities to get involved with us, whether that's also being on our board, becoming an advisor, connecting us with communities and things like chambers of commerce and cities, departments of mental health. We're happy to, plug in as well. Yes. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Y'all have no questions for us. Oh, okay.
No worries. If you're new to Melanin Minds, again, this is our 4th annual conference. The first conference was out of a single room in the previous Us Space location. In the second year, we were able to partner with the Houston Texans YMCA. Last year, we were at the Greater Houston Big Brothers Big Sisters, and now we are here at Esperson. So the growth is real, and we're just so excited to have you along with us on the journey. Yes, question.
Do you guys do more than the conference? Like, do you have like events or?
So over the last 4 years, we've done several different things. So we definitely have listened to the needs of a community, and then we've been moving. So one of the really cool things we've done, we have one of our sister organizations in the house, Lift Collective, right here. And Lift Collective actually not only brought us on, but hired us to come to their conference last year, and we did all their wellness moments. So Rania has Lift Collective, and it is a mental health we are a mental health nonprofit. They're a nonprofit, and they do diversity and not equity and inclusion like DEI like that, but they really focus on the whole experience of how to be equitable and access and supportive to people in the wine industry and how you can ethically grow in business. Did I get most of that right? Okay, great. And so Rania brought us on a whole team, ambassadors and everything. We went down there. We did the wellness lounge, like we have the rest and reset lounge. We also did all the wellness moments on stage at the beginning. We did morning meetups. So we'll do stuff like that at a conference. So we'll be responsible for all the wellness moments. We also have partnered with the Harris County Public Libraries, and we did coloring book workshops. And it was all around intergenerational communication. So you can imagine a whole bunch of people in a room, all different ages, and we're coloring, and it turns into this whole community conversation to the point where like this dad brings his daughters in and they're coloring, and we're like, oh, would you like a coloring book? And he's like, no. And by the end, he's like taking her coloring book and coloring. And there's like an elder that's sitting next to these 2 teenage boys, and like within 15 minutes, they're all like having this conversation. And she's like, well, you don't know about that. And he's like, no, you push that on your phone. So really creating these very unique experiences around mental health. So like we were saying with our pillars, Melanin Minds can plug into anything that you're doing, and we can find a way to incorporate, and not only incorporate, but identify what mentally is going on, the mental health moment, and really create a program around it. So we do have offerings of programming. Mm-hmm.
Also, the last couple years, we've done a fall road trip. The first one was all about entrepreneur relationship. Oh no, the first one was about mental health and art. So we popped up in Los Angeles and Chicago with a set of art shows. We did some talkbacks with the artists and how their art affects their mental health. We had a marketplace out in LA supporting small businesses. And then in Chicago, we partnered with Pigment International for Black Fine Arts Month. And then the second year, the theme was the co-founder relationships. So again, we popped up in Los Angeles and Chicago. We hosted some really intentional networking events, as well as, of course, always Self-Care Sunday, yoga and sound bowls. So yeah, we have really felt like we've hit our stride with this 3-day weekend format. And I think we may be moving towards concentrating on the conference itself, bringing it to other cities. But yeah, that's kind of been our formula so far. Oh, yes, Raven.
What kind of things do you guys look for, or ways for people to contribute? As in, like, what do you look for in somebody who's going to be on who would want to be on your board, or who wants to be a volunteer, or who just wants to be like a part of the committee, or even it's not like what kind of do you guys have like things that you look for, a vetting process, or what kind of things do you?
Yeah, we have a whole matrix.
Yeah, we have a matrix. So our board, all our board members, we probably had 2-hour conversations after stalking them on all social media and platforms and talked to other people. So I don't know if some of y'all met Nirvana that was here, and she just flew back and wished us well, and Miss Linda and Dr. J. So our board, the way we have it positioned is as we're growing, because our first challenge is a non-for-profit. Before we were non-for-profit, is we were recognized globally through Rihanna Savage X Fenty Game Changer duo. We received an award in 2021. And so we very soundly decided that our board needed to be C-suite people that had loud voices and that could get the dollars and the yeses and the connections. So if you are thinking about growing a non-for-profit, think about it from that strategic standpoint, and have the mindset shift around your non-for-profit not being a business. It's a whole business. So that's for the board. For the advisory board, that is about me and Mel's relationship. See, it's so appropriate. You're just right here. It's about our relationship and what we need as co-founders to make the organization grow. So we have a lawyer, somebody that's in finance. I don't know if y'all saw Christine in the front row the first day. And then Muriel, who really, in her own right, is growing non-for-profits, and that's her drive. And she's really good at helping with partnerships while, we're working on the back end of everything else. So our advisory board is actually an invite only. We find people that we need, and we have long conversations with them about, hey, you're gonna kind of be our babysitters, and we're gonna call you up randomly, and we're gonna need help with stuff. As far as our volunteers, we always need volunteers. If y'all have noticed over the last several years, it takes us months and months to get our content out. We have beautiful content, but then she goes back to her full-time job, and I go back to my 2 businesses plus Melanin Minds, and we hit the road and on and on and on. So we always need help, not only at the conference, but year-round, getting out content on social media, reaching out to potential sponsors, and even people that have ideas and are like, somebody said earlier, well, I was just waiting for you not to be busy.
Good luck.
Tell me how that works. How does that work? And, I'm a big advocate in you not defining my busyness. So always reaching out and then just giving us a little bit of grace and gratitude, our values. And we'll always get back to you or always send you to the person that can give the answer. So that's how we pick and choose and decide, what avenue. But there's always something you can do with Melanin Minds in some type of way. Even babysitting the kids.
So my question is based more around youth engagement, and what are some ways that you guys have thought about how to reach more out to the youth and get them more involved and engaged, even maybe at the school district level or charter level or doing programs in schools? Have y'all thought about that?
We would love to. Anywhere where they pay us, no. Anywhere where we are needed again, we would love to be in schools and create that space. Again, LaGina and I are not mental health experts, so we would need the support with the practitioners to be able to do that. But we would love to be able to facilitate and curate those spaces. And we are big on, again, having all generations present and in on the conversation. So we try to create space at the conference, whether that's the kids' corner, whether that's, having youth tickets, because they do need to be here and having these conversations as early as possible.
And particularly last year in December was our first annual board retreat. It was our first one ever. And what we focused on is defining those 5 pillars. So when you go on our website, those 5 pillars, like Sherhara said earlier, those are what drive us. But each one, as we're growing as a board, that was one of the long conversations we had with Dr. J, was we want each pillar to be able to stand on its own and have clear identification of organizations and things that it does, right? So essentially Melanin Minds and then the 5 pillars. So we talked about for youth engagement around mindset shifting and what that means, because that's that intergenerational and who are we going to work with. Now, I say particularly school districts can be very tricky, but non-for-profits that we can pair with, because getting larger grants requires, letters of support. And we talked about with, I believe, was it aligning we were talking about with vets and exiting? So, vets in the military don't have an exit strategy per se. How's your mental health doing? What are you doing next? What do you do? So even nationally, how are we going to get involved with our vets and having a pillar that is strictly focused on supporting our vets, our Black males, our youth, our mothers, our indigenous population, our LGBTQIA population, and even within that population, those letters are all different types of humans. If you ask 5 people what queer means, you get 5 different answers. And so even within that community, letting that group of people talk about what that means. Just like you saw the black males on stage, there's a lot to unpack. And so we're taking bites and we're figuring out as we go. But as far as youth engagement, like all of those are on the table. Yeah, absolutely.
And just to kind of add to that too, it is difficult to get into schools, but some of the things that really would help kids the most really can be done by anybody. It comes down to asking kids really good questions, but it starts with helping them identify emotions. So something that a lot of people don't know is that we're not born with emotions. Like we have some fairly basic emotions, things that we can express like discomfort or anger, but these are base emotions and they don't really convey what we're actually feeling. So doing things that involve emotions, asking them, why are you feeling this way? What happened that is making you feel sad? And really helping them try to get into their emotions and have a response. Because otherwise what tends to happen, especially with males, as we just heard from the panel before this, is that they are taught to suppress emotions, which works great until you get older. And then you have to deal with everything that you did not deal with the previous 25 plus years. So it's really helping them understand emotion, get into that emotional state, providing them tools to explore themselves. And that alone would help with so many issues that we see in young kids.
So we're technically out of time. Okay. If we're not holding y'all, we good.
I saw a hand go up briefly. Yes? Yes, you ma'am.
This is more like a comment or a reflection of this weekend. It's been absolutely changing, life-changing for me, and I'm thankful for you guys for being here and the work that you've done. However, from the moment I got in here, when you talk about you have to deal with things later, the first thing I saw was that you were addressing everything except, like Miss Linda said, there's a generation of us. We didn't have words like self-care and things like that, and we're still here, suffering silently a lot of times and not knowing where to go, and how about not even knowing that we do have a problem. We just feel the effects of it, right? And I hear you talking about everyone else and still in the conversation, that gap. You're missing us, and we need you. We're still here, those baby boomers that are taking care of parents and struggling with all sorts of mental health issues that we never had an opportunity to get help with. So if I could ask you to do anything for the community, it would be to include that generation, that population of people that includes me. That's why I'm here, because I have a therapist today, then she's helping me, and that's why I'm here. But there's so many more of us, and I can just feel the need to help,
Our direct answer is absolutely. And we'll be honest, we're missing a lot of people. Look at the room. So for me, that's our drive, right? And I will push back and say that we're not missing the population, because we have the board members, our parents are here and everything. So it's there and the conversations are in here, but how can we amplify it? How can we make sure there's more people in the room? And like Sherhara's been saying all weekend, and how we're saying, it has to be y'all describing this experience and y'all talking about it year round. And when the tickets come out, 5 days before us getting 30 emails about how, hey, we can come speak at that, we put a year, 8 months, 9 months of work in. And so, yeah, the generations, the silent generation, the boomers, the Xers, the millennials, the Gen Z, the alphas, the unnamed generation, we know them. We know them well. We worked at Houston Phillipson University together. That's what I did. I was running around making that disruption and that mindset shift. And, what I've seen all weekend from my perspective is that we're excited for our elders to be here. We're like, you want some tea? You want some water? You want some juice? What do you want? You want this chair? What do you need? But I do agree with you, and our direct answer is absolutely. More on stage. But we need people to apply, right? And do the applications. We need people to buy the tickets. We need people to bring their mamas. Jason talking about bringing his mama next year. Family, shout out. All the mamas in the house, shout out. All the babies in the house. But, we need families here. Plan this around your family vacation. Houston's a great place to be. We all were at Finn Hall kicking it, So it's more of us getting out. And, one thing that Mel and I do a great job of not doing a good job at is articulating that it is a very small organization. We've been a 501c3 for a year and 5 months now. And so even though everything looks really, really good, we're just conceiving and growing. And so we love to hear, do this. We need more of this. Keep us honest. What are we doing next year, y'all? What is something we were going to do? Thank you. CEUs. We've had 3 people walk up to us and tell us, we can help you do that. It's not that hard,
I think piggybacking off of what you're saying is also for that generation, this generation does a lot more social media.
Which generation?
The boomer generation.
Okay, boomers.
Does a lot more of social media and invitations online and things like that, where the boomer generation is maybe more on paper and by mail or passing out flyers or something of that nature, and going to certain locations that have more people of that generation there where you can hand out stuff, paper.
We're gonna do phone calls. So who's gonna help us do phone calls? Okay, because I'm asking Ms. Linda over here. I'm like, how are we supposed to reach out to y'all? She's like, Facebook and phone calls. So are we right? Is this right? Facebook and phone calls? Okay. Email. Okay. Phone calls, seal the deal. Okay.
Wow, and I'm here.
Face to face, phone calls, seal the deal. Okay.
I'm shaking in my boots over here
All
at
right.
phone calls.
Hello, my name is LaGina. I'm from Melanin Minds, and I would love for you to come to the 2025 Melanin Minds Mental Health Conference. Does that sound good? Okay. All right. One more question, and then we're going to end this.
I don't have a question. I just want to say there was not a moment in this except I was locked out. Y'all got that together real quick, so I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Our bad.
But aside from that, there was not a moment where I did not feel like I belonged, like there was connection here. I appreciate you all being very intentional about how you put things together. The panelists, everything. So I appreciate it. Even the workshops, I was like torn which one I'm gonna go to. It wasn't even a matter of, I'll go to this one, I'll miss that one. It was like, oh my goodness, I want to be at all of it. So I just appreciate you all taking the time, putting this together, and being so intentional about it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Any other asks, needs, or wants for next year? We're here for it. Go ahead.
Not necessarily, well, yes, more of it, but I just wanted to say this, that being able to contribute, being part of, speaking, but the main thing is knowing that this is necessary, just to come and be, to breathe, to experience life and all the things and challenges that comes with it, but just to be in a place that's safe and just to feel like, yes, this is where I need to be so that I can truly release whatever I don't no longer need to take with me, but just to be. So.
Thank you.
So it's totally random, but what's something that made you smile at this conference this year?
You, girl. No, and I'm getting teary-eyed. Just you all speaking life into us and affirming that we are doing necessary work and that you all are receiving it. We have a lot more work to do, a lot more communities to cover, but we are on the right path. And just hearing that all weekend, I know I'm a little socially awkward. I may just smile and run away, but I'm taking that all into heart, truly. Thank you, guys.
I have a suggestion. Think of maybe like a family ticketing structure. So instead of it being like $150 for the wife, the husband, the 4 kids, maybe structure some family ticketing pricing. So, because if I could have like a structure where I could pay maybe like $400 for the whole family instead of like $150 for all 6 of us, everybody would definitely be here. So just consider thinking about tiers of family pricing.
Yeah, so this year, kids under 12, and I think last year too, kids under 12 were free. This year, we introduced youth tickets at just $50 for the whole weekend, and then the general pass was $150. So we'll continue working on that, but we have been kind of testing and adjusting our ticket structure so that we do include students, we include volunteer tickets, youth tickets, as well as the full weekend pass too.
Yeah, because part of our mission is the accessible spaces. And so even in the pricing model, like, people be like, hey, I can't afford to come. And, because of Darrell, we handed out a slew of complimentary tickets because we understand people's power's out. Even people are walking in, Dr. J, he's like, my power's out 11 days. And, he just got here and all of those kind of things. But we have a volunteer ticket that's $25 and our volunteers be cold chilling with us in the back. They get food. They're here early. Thank you. They come late, all of those things. So there's several different ways and we will take kid volunteers. Last year, our speaker, Tafari, his daughter volunteered with us. She came up looking. She was like, I'm here to volunteer. And then, she actually ended up being on our media team with Darrell. Darrell gave her a camera. We actually used most of her photos so there's always a way to experience. I guess we could package it like that. But the pricing model is there to be accessible even to larger families. So, okay, so we need to advertise it and push it differently. Okay, I hear you. Thank you.
This is like a comment to you guys, but then a ask of the audience. Do y'all bring y'all kids next year? Because it's my baby's second time.
It is her second time.
This year, one day, this year, she took 2 days, and she needs somebody else to play with her. This next time playing with her too much. But I would love for that. I really thank you guys for that year too, and you guys have always made me and her feel welcome. You all have always made her feel welcome here, and y'all remembered her face from last year, which was amazing. So y'all bring y'all kids next year, even if they little, let them come play. I don't think there wasn't a kids corner last year. Now there's a kids corner, and now it has all that. So I want to say I see that, I recognize that. See you guys growing and providing this opportunity. So
Absolutely. That's my homie. She had me hitting it from floor to floor. Y'all saw me. I'm a fairy. I'm a fly. Go. Be free. Anybody else? Comments, thoughts?
Bring your mamas and your grandmamas too. That's one way they'll come, okay? And your daddies and your uncles, aunts. Okay, I could go on and on.
I thought y'all covered so much over the last 3 days, so thank you. One thing that I'm thinking of that could be helpful is maybe some conversations around addiction or addiction in families and supporting loved ones and just coping with that.
Yeah, that's a really good one. We will add that. I'm glad it's recorded. I know 2 things that we brought in this year that were a request from last year. One was, the community talk circle last year. That was, I don't want to say a huge hit, right? But it hit people and it was a thing. So this year we brought it back, and just because I know I've experienced a lot of grief and a lot of people have, and it's just an ongoing, ever-going cycle. That's why very consciously this year we did, they're surviving or being the survivor and doing grief. Another one we brought together. I'm hungry. I'll say that. That's why I'm stumbling. Another one we brought back was nutrition. And you know how we did the food demos last year? This year we did the gardening. We had the main stage and the food demos. And when you're experiencing Melanin Minds, we have the panel. We have panels. We have fireside chats. Then we have solo presenters, right? And then we have demos and activations. So you saw the art activation because art and mental health go hand in hand. So we're really incorporating things. So I really, I hold that dear, family members that have addiction, and the support around that is important.
I have a question. Is this recorded for others to see? Because I know we have family members who want more information about it. And we're we can explain it to you, but you gotta see it.
For $48.99. No, I'm kidding. No.
They really do have to be here. But thankfully this year we are having such amazing production value. So everything on main stage has been recorded. Once it's all edited and in post, we will be posting it on YouTube. And then same as last year, we had all of our main stage panels recorded. That's up on YouTube currently. And yeah, the very first year is all up on YouTube. If you want to go watch, please don't watch it.
Don't go watch it.
Please don't go watch it.
I know you're on your mental health journey, but just believe us, it was amazing.
We've gotten so much better. Yes. So yeah, you'll be able to find all of the main stage panels on YouTube afterwards. And next year we'll add, getting some of the workshops recorded. And another thing from this year, I know last year we had the perimenopause panel. So bringing the masculinity and mental health panel this year was super important. So as big as we can get to incorporate all the topics and all the communities, we are down for the challenge.
And again, how we incorporate those and pick our lineup is Mel and I have some, we'll sit down and we're like, what's going on in the community? What do we need? Because selfishly, I'd be like, what are you doing? I want to interview you. I need a therapist, all of that. But it's also whoever applies to be speakers. If you have an idea and you want to do something, or since we're in year 4, you've met somebody that you possibly could do a talk, an activation. Somebody walked up to me and they were like, I want to apply next year. And she was talking about, she does interior design and mental health. I was like, oh, well, you could speak, but you could also do a whole exhibitor activation. That's how we got the art. Shout out to the art activation. Woo! That was amazing.
Art, yes.
Right? But those activations, they're immersive experiences, and it's the tangible things in the mental health journey that you're also going to remember too. Even Terry with Branded Local, y'all, we're walking down a red carpet, we're doing a 360, and then we're doing testimonials, the podcast room. So there's so many ways that you can apply and be a participant, and the diversification of the conference relies solely on who applies, because Mel and I, it's really hard for us to individually go out and seek all of these people, because usually the people that we have to go seek out are the hardest people to get to do what they're supposed to do.
I have a question. When did you guys open up the applications to apply?
Why, that's a great question. So every year it gets a little bit more early. Mel always tells this story really well, but the first year we started Melanin Minds, we didn't start planning it till April. And it was in July, and it was in mid-July, okay? And the second year, I think we started in February. The third year, we shouldn't be bored, cover your ears. In the third year, we started in December during the board retreat, so last year. And this year, we've already started planning. So we will be releasing maybe partnerships and sponsorships first, or speaker application, we don't know. But it will be at the top of the year. So you can be looking out for it, because one of our asks to our community is to stay engaged with us throughout the entire year, and don't disappear and then come back and be like, I haven't seen you in a year. Engage with us, send people our way, send people to our emails, hello@melaninminds.org. Outreach@melaninminds.org is where you can reach us. But yeah, it'll be at the top of the year this year. And it's all based around the pillars. So build your thought processes around the pillars. Yeah. Mom.
Who designed the Spotify playlist? Who did that?
DJ Amber.
DJ Bronze. She's right there in the back, y'all. She's also our photographer. And part of the media team for what? 2 years? 2 years-ish. Yeah. And it's on Spotify. MMMHC.
She also ran the self-reflective writing and lyrics workshop at the very, very start of the conference too.
Yeah.
So
in the
multifaceted,
morning.
multi-talented.
I just want to shout out, they all did an awesome job.
Thank you.
And I love how, when I was like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Oh, there's resources. There's city-specific. You got a lot on your website. So I just want to encourage everyone to take a look, explore throughout there, and stay engaged.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leilani. The QR code for the resources page is in the back cover, as well as the feedback survey, so please take that. But melaninminds.org/resources, we have them divided by city-specific, things you can listen to, directories to find therapists of color. So yeah, definitely check those out. Thank you, Leilani.
All right, closing thoughts, words, and then let's wrap up for the year. Take it away.
Just thank you all so much for pouring into us in the way that we pour into this conference year round. And just stay open-minded. And if you can take anything from this conference, I hope that you take that you are worthy of a holistic approach to your health, to your mental health, that you are worthy.